not supposed to play Denver once again in Denver 2 times in a row. That's why the Saints, the scheduling with Denver has looked so bad, because you haven't seen Denver in the Superdome since the early part of 2000. There was a scheduling glitch because the Saints in '08 that year played in London against San Diego. And what happened with that was they made sure that San Diego game was a road game for the Saints and Denver was a road game for the Saints, as well as Kansas City. So they messed up, and then they didn't correct it in 12. They wind up having the Saints going on the road again to Denver. And that was the mistake that they made with that scheduling. We were not supposed to go on the road twice in a row to Denver. You're supposed to rotate that. So that's why the Saints, have lost under Sean Payton. They're 0-2 because they went to Denver twice. This will be the first time a Denver Broncos team under Coach Payton has come to the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Let's just hope that we can break all of these things and keep the momentum.
Well, here's the deal. Back in December 24th, 1994, last game of the season, New Orleans Saints beat Denver in Denver 30-28.
Yep, Torrance Smalls had that game, which got him his free agent contract and his big contract with the Rams. I remember that game. He had 200-something yards in that last game. If you look up the stats in that game, that's when and Torrance is a family member because he's married to our classmate Denise. That's when Torrance had that big game. Yep, absolutely remember it now. So we'll see what happens. The other thing is you might want to look up, Denver has not done well in the Superdome.
Oh, they don't like the Superdome. They lost championships.
They have not done well playing in this Superdome when they come to New Orleans either.
That's
since
right.
the late 80s under Jim Mora. So that should be interesting to see, what happens on Sunday. Jay Dixon, who are your Falcons playing on Sunday?
The Eagles.
Where at?
In Philadelphia.
Atlanta Falcons will be in Philadelphia to take on the rookie, Carson Wentz. They have not been playing well, Philadelphia. I really think the Falcons are probably going to beat them. But you never know because there's always a trap game. They started out hot 3-0, but they've lost 3 out of their last 4 games. That's a big game because either way, if the Saints win, whoever loses or loses helps the Saints anyway. You're going to see a lot of these games now that impact everything. So that game should be interesting. What time is that a kickoff? 1 p.m. Eastern?
Yeah, 1 p.m.
Yeah, that's for the Falcons in Carolina. We get Carolina Thursday. Do you know Carolina's playing this Sunday? I didn't check to look at the schedule.
Hold, please.
Carolina Panthers and Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
They play Kansas City.
In Kansas City?
No, in Carolina.
In Carolina. Kansas City is a solid team, so that may work in the favor because Andy Reid plays disciplined football. The Kansas City Chiefs they win games not by flash, but they're the quietest 6-2 team you could ever find out. He just has that team always playing solid year in and year out. Philadelphia made a terrible mistake getting rid of Andy Reid.
And you make a good point, man, because the Chiefs have a pretty solid defense, and look what the Rams did against Carolina to keep that game as close as they did. So I mean, the Panthers were only able to put up 13 points on the Rams defense. So a similar type of action could be, with the Chiefs holding them pat as well.
Yeah, that Rams defense, the Saints have problems with that Rams front four. If that offensive line, they're going to be tested against Denver. They're going to be tested. Yeah, they're going to be facing some top front four, top 7 defenses. They're not over the hump yet with these tough defenses because they got to play Arizona, Carolina, and the Rams. Those are some tough defenses. So we'll be seeing
Aaron Donald. Man, Aaron Donald was like 2 or 3 men himself, right?
Yeah. So let's talk about this second half of the season. Here is my path for the Saints to, if they want to win the division, They are going to have to win all 4 of their games at home. They cannot have any more Oakland, Raider mistakes or Atlanta Falcon mistakes at home, because the Saints are only 2-2 at home and 2-2 on the road. You should not be 2-2 in the Superdome. You cannot keep losing games at home. So the path for the Saints, wild card or division, they have to win all 4 games at home. That'll give them 8 wins. They're going to have to beat either Carolina, either Arizona, Tampa Bay, or Atlanta. They're going to have to win 2 out of those 4 games on the road. You got to go 2-2 on the road and 4-0 at home. That'll put you at 10-6. Now, the Falcons' schedule is a lot lighter now. So to keep pace with them, when they win, the Saints are going to have to win. But the Saints cannot afford to. This is their last AFC game. Everything else after here on out is NFC games. So right now in the NFC, the Saints have 1 loss to NFC South opponents, and so do the Falcons. So if they keep pace with the Falcons, then the tiebreaker game will be New Year's in the Georgia Dome for the division. Now, in terms of wild card, they're in a battle with the New York Giants, who are 5-3, and they're in the pack also right next to them. Washington Redskins, Philadelphia Eagles, 1 game ahead of them is Minnesota and Detroit. They're tied. Green Bay is kind of tied with them. And then you got Seattle in front, and then Arizona. So there are a pack of teams that this wild card could go to. The best thing the Saints could do is try to go 6-2. I think that will get them in the playoffs. If possible, 7-1. At worst, 5-3.
Yeah.
They don't have a lot of leeway with 4 losses already that they can spare games. So that's, to me, their path to, possibly, and I don't like talking about playoffs with 8 games to go, but that's their pathway. But first, they got to take care of business at home against Denver. That crowd is going to be electrifying. There's a lot of momentum in the Superdome. Drew Brees, you cannot let him down. Mark Ingram, you cannot let him down. Landon Cooks, Michael Thomas, y'all got to show up at home, because there's a lot of excitement with the team playing better, and you just cannot go home and throw a goose egg.
And the Saints' defensive secondary, as well as the linebacking core, have to be more aware of the situations, and they have to be more aware of how they are covering tight ends as well as those wide receivers. I mean, Demaryius Thomas is a big guy. Crawley or Bro may be on him. I don't know if they're going to put Bro on him. We may have Sterling Moore to return, and we have Webb out there. So hopefully, man, these guys can just be disciplined. We just don't need any ticky-tack fouls or stupid penalties to give them extra possessions, like on 3rd down to just extend drives. We have to do our best to be as disciplined as possible. And you notice, Professor, since that tragic performance with all of those penalties a few games ago, the Saints have done very well in the penalties. Reducing it down to, I believe we had 2 in the game before, and we have 5 in this last game. So,
yeah, they're doing very well in that area. So they just need to keep that same discipline in that area, because they have definitely cut back on the penalties.
Yeah.
So we need to continue that. James, any other news from Falcon Camp you want to share with the listeners?
No.
Is Julio Jones playing this Sunday?
Yes, he is.
Matt Ryan?
Yep.
Freeman playing?
Yeah, Freeman's playing. Coleman is going to be out, and
Coleman is out for the Falcons. Ooh, that's a huge loss. He's out again. What about Vic Beasley?
Vic Beasley is going to be playing. He's ready to go.
And Saints fans, you should be very sad. I told you guys, because Vic Beasley was the player the Saints were going to pick, and the mistake News media, and it's the same thing, unfortunately, for some people, not for me, happened with the Hillary Clinton. News media people are messing people up because they run their mouths too much. The Louisiana news sports people should have never been broadcasted that the Saints were interested in Vic Beasley because the Falcons were 2 or 3 picks ahead of them, and they snatched him. And that's why I feel confident about Stephon Anthony, his partner in Clemson, because Vic Beasley is definitely on the road to a Pro Bowl. What, he got 9 sacks, my James? 8 or 9?
No, 7.5.
7.5, yeah. And what you have to learn, I keep telling people, you cannot expect these college players to be superstars in year one. The impatience of these coaches are killing their younger players. You can't tell me Vic Beasley, who was best friends and played with Stephon Anthony cannot play. And it was on the Clemson defense together. This is where I think Coach Payton has made a huge mistake. Huge mistake.
Look,
and
man.
Anthony, you better find a way to get Stephon Anthony back in that lineup.
Yeah. Vic Beasley has also hit the quarterback 9 times. And I mean, he's really stepped up to his game this year. He looked like he was going to be pseudo a bust last season, but whatever he's done this season, kind of learning under Dwight Freeney, has enhanced his performance.
You cannot go off no rookie year. You cannot do that anymore, and people don't understand it. I remember telling James, Vic Beasley is not a bust. You cannot go off no rookie year. Look at Cam Jordan, his rookie year, no sacks. These guys are not. You're not coming in the NFL and just take it over like it used to be in the 70s and 80s and early 90s when we was watching football. Colin James. That's not how these kids are coming out of college. These kids have to learn math through X's and O's. It takes an adjustment. And I remember when I read the thing on NOLA.com and the Saints leaked it out that they were interested in getting Vic Beasley. They were not going to draft Andrews Pete if Vic Beasley had still been in that spot. And what they should have done is made a trade to get him because the Falcons stole Vic Beasley right underneath them, and look at what he's doing. Look at what he's doing. And I have belief in Stephon Anthony. I really do, because that was Vic Beasley's best friend. They played linebacker together.
Yeah, they were good tandem. Real good tandem.
They were excellent tandem. Yes, they were. So this is the fault of, once again, like somebody said at WWL, have y'all looked at who's coaching the linebackers? I said, ooh. All I could say was, I put my hand on myself. Ooh. Sounds like something the professor has been stating for the last 5 years, but I'm not going to bring up that old song.
That was more like a whelp.
Yeah, I was like, oops, could somebody be saying the same thing I've been saying? Bill Johnson, Joe Vitt, thank you for your service, but it's time to move on and go in a different direction. I don't want to put anybody in the unemployment line, but you're not new. Nope. That guy, Stephon Anthony, cannot play right next to Vic Beasley and not have some talent to be in the doghouse like this.
And so you don't choose a guy at number 1 if you didn't see something in him to be able to play. Maybe he's not a middle linebacker in your eyesight under Dennis Allen, or maybe Dennis Allen is not understanding how to utilize his talent.
Your best 3 linebackers at this stage of the game, they are Craig Robinson,
check,
Ellaby when he's healthy, and Stephon Anthony.
Check.
Those are your 3 best linebackers when you just stated that they have my man Stupa rated as the worst linebacker with 120-something yards given up. Because that did not look good in that Kansas City game, nor this game with these 2 plays with these people catching the ball for 8 yards and running 68 and whatever that man ran 48. I'm like, what is going on? Where are the linebackers?
Yeah, well, it's like what they noticed as well, man. And I noticed that play, man. He was looking in the backfield for some reason, but his primary responsibility was supposed to be the tight end. And on the other play, his primary responsibility was to no, I take that back. It wasn't him. It was Robinson. Responsibility was the running back coming out of the backfield. So I won't put both of those on him, but that other